both sides continue to believe a path to victory remains. Trump relies on legal challenges while Biden relies on a continuation of vote counting. In the meantime, the Biden camp is assembling a herd of top policy experts, and discussions are happening about who will fill what post. Some are even starting to refer to Biden as president-elect. So when does he come out and declare victory? We heard Richard saying we don't know if he will do that tonight. Who keeps the wheels in motion as Trump's legal challenges move along? Let's remember there's still a pandemic in play. Let's bring in former U.S. Ambassador to Canada David Wilkins and former Industry Minister James Moore. Good afternoon, gentlemen. It's very nice to see you, and thanks for being there. Happy Friday. David Wilkins, I want to start with you. The number 270 Electoral College votes is the magic number. There's small margins, there's litigation, recounts. Joe Biden's team is preparing the transition. When is he officially, in your mind, your next president?
Well, the votes have to all be counted. You got 6 states out there still counting votes. Once they're all counted and certified and the numbers add up to 270 or above, then that's when I would officially declare. But, I mean, obviously it's going to be up to the Vice President Biden to make that decision, but that would be the normal state. I know when either there's a concession by the opponent or either the votes are certified and you have 270 and you know you got elected. One of those two things will make it happen.
So, Mr. Wilkins, is it the right strategy for him then to be coming out tonight and addressing the nation while all this recounting is happening?
Well, I certainly think it's fine if that's what he wants to do. I mean, you've got one of these two individuals that are going to be our next president for the next 4 years. And President Trump had a press conference last night. It's certainly appropriate for Vice President Biden to express his views to the American people tonight. Whether he declares victory or consistently does what he said he's doing, and that is wait until all the votes are counted and see if he hits the magic number. He's getting mighty close, and odds are that he will be our next president based on the vote count in the 6 states that are still in play.
James Moore, you know, here in Canada, the Prime Minister is remaining prudent, as he has since the beginning of this campaign. He wants, obviously, to avoid any interference, he said today. When should Canada make that phone call to congratulate Joe Biden? I know Donald Trump obviously is not going to concede. We heard him yesterday. There are litigations and recounts. But if you wait too long, it doesn't look good. And Donald Trump will remain, you know, sort of a president until January. So when does our Prime Minister pick up the phone and call him?
Well, when it's clear and when it's absolute. I mean, I think Ambassador Wilkins is right. Let's wait till all the votes are counted. As a matter of fact, I actually think Donald Trump and his belligerence last night in his press conference set the stage for a somewhat nice transition for Vice President Biden. His speech tonight has to almost counteract with what President Trump did last night by actually sort of telling the American people and the world that there will be a transition, that he's been in public life for a long time. He knows what these things look like. He was there with former President Obama in their transition back in 2008, and that Americans don't have to worry about it, that he will go slow, but he will wait until all the votes are counted. I suspect that the Associated Press, which has been for over a century the standard bearer in terms of deciding when it's absolutely correct, which is based on the results of the Electoral College and the results that come in across the nation. So I suspect the media will declare Joe Biden the winner. And Joe Biden, it would actually be a kind of a nice first act of humility from the president in 4 years for him to say, you know what, I know that people have said that I've won, but I'm actually going to wait until all the ballots are counted, including the ballots of our military men and women, until they are all counted and everything is counted. And then I will accept the title of president-elect and we will move forward. And I think at that moment, you know, that would be appropriate for Prime Minister Trudeau to make the call. I think what the world is looking for is some calm, some leadership, and some statesmanship, which has been lacking for far too long.
Mr. Wilkins, I want to ask you this about language. I mean, you were a diplomat at one point, and you know, CNN calling Donald Trump after his White House sort of rant or statement, whatever you want to call it, an obese turtle on his back flailing in the hot sun, the president's son tweeting, "This is war," the president totally discrediting your electoral system. How do you come back from that?
Well, if you talk about how do you, meaning our country comes back from that, we come back. We're resilient. In fact, I think the winner of this election really are the American people. You, in the middle of a pandemic, you had a historic number of Americans voting. Over 160 million people voted. Some standing in line for as much as 3 or 4 hours to get to cast their vote. It's the largest percentage of participation since 1900. And so, and all these statements about there'll be riots in the street, we need to board up, and there's going to be a lot of vandalism. I mean, that's not happening right now. The people have voted. We're all waiting to get the final results, but we'll accept the results and we'll move on. Our system requires write-in votes, military votes to come in. Sometimes state law requires counting up to 1 week after the election. And so it's not going to be immediate. It may be tonight. It may be early next week, but we'll have a final vote, final count soon. I remember my boss, George W. Bush, when he was first elected in 2000. It was well over a month before Al Gore conceded, and the election was declared official. So these things will happen, and they'll happen in an orderly transition, but it may not happen as soon as some people want them to.
James Moore, President Joe Biden, the tone obviously will be more friendly and civil. I can't imagine how it could be less friendly and civil, but there will be challenges for Canada with him as well. Quickly, tell us, where do you think will be the biggest challenges for the Trudeau government with a Biden administration?
The gate, it's been noted, of course, on your show, it's been discussed. The Keystone XL pipeline is critical back in the late spring. Let's not forget, Joe Biden came in 4th in the Iowa caucuses, 5th in the New Hampshire primary, and his ascension now to president of the United States is a pretty incredible turnaround of fortunes and a pretty masterful accomplishment, it must be said. But among the reasons that he was able to do that is because he made big sweeping promises to the hard left of the Democrat Party, including canceling the Keystone XL pipeline. So I think in short order, the Trudeau government is going to have to engage absolutely to ensure that the Keystone XL pipeline is not scrapped and that we have those appropriate diplomatic engagements with the new Biden administration to make our case that this is a critical linkage for the health of Canada's economy and North American economy as a whole.
Thank you to both of you. David Wilkins, James Moore, thanks for being there. Have a wonderful weekend, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.